It looks like fasten your seatbelt signs could be flashing more often on airplanes. According to a new study, planes will face more turbulence by the year 2050 because of global warming.
Not good if you are a scary flyer like I am. Here to tell us more is Manoj Joshi. Manoj is one of the lead authors of the study and a lecturer at the University of East Anglia. So Manoj, what's causing these bumpier flights?
Well, we've conducted simulations of a climate model, and what we find is that the jet stream in the North Atlantic, we've concentrated on the North Atlantic, will increase in strength. And what that means, you tend to get more turbulence, more wind shear, and it means you're going to get more turbulence, especially during winter.
This study, Manoj, focuses on clear air turbulence. What is that exactly? Why is it problematic?
Well, if you fly into clouds, clouds are very turbulent environments. So pilots try to stay away from them if you can. At cruise altitudes, you can get turbulence generated by storms. This is essentially in the form of very small waves and turbulence. There's no real sign of them. They're invisible, really. So all you can tell is try and predict them, which is very difficult using certain models, or you can get advanced warning from pilots whose planes, unfortunately, have already flown through it. That's why it's important to try and recognize this may increase in the future.
So in layman terms, I mean, should nervous passengers be worried?
Well, it has to be remembered that, clear air turbulence, I mean, the stuff you may see on TV happens very, very rarely. We are projecting increases, but these are increases from a very small average. So I don't think people should suddenly start feeling nervous about flying.
Talk to us a little bit about the effects it would have on passengers and sort of how it would affect airlines overall.
Well, airlines have very sort of concrete definitions for moderate turbulence, severe turbulence, and each of these types we project would increase. What might happen, though, is what happens at present is that airliners can be diverted around the area of turbulence. But of course, if they do this, it takes time and it costs more fuel. It means more emissions of carbon into the atmosphere. Could even mean more delays at airports.
But is there anything that can be done to avoid it?
Again, a plane, an airline, you can only deal with the weather that's thrown at you. If the weather is changing, you have to deal with it, really.
All right, how would this impact flights, let's say, from Canada to Europe?
Well, essentially, we find that a lot of the basket of measures of clear air turbulence that we looked at would increase in the North Atlantic, which is where most of the flight tracks go from, not just Canada, most of North America to most of Europe. We looked at this in winter. We want to look at it at other seasons, but it does look like clear air turbulence would become more likely for the majority of flights going from North America and Europe and vice versa.
Cruise ships have sensors to kind of balance things. I'm wondering if aircrafts need to create something to kind of preempt this, knowing that this might be coming and there's more turbulence ahead. Could an aircraft create something to kind of help stabilize things?
Well, we sort of looked at the probability of turbulence occurring, the sorts of turbulence that already occurs. So we sort of stayed away from the engineering of future aircraft. That's a whole different side of things. So this study, we're really looking at the climate and the weather and the sort of statistics of turbulence. Maybe that's something for future. We're not sure about that.
All right. Manoj, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.